Well, it's time now to review headlines on today's newspaper. And Adeswa Giwa Osage here, who've been doing the honors.
Trying to clean my glasses so we can get into this.
Yes, yes. Adeswa, can I just say that I have missed you?
I've
missed you so much.
What a wonderful weekend.
I know.
First I get Adefemi, then I get you. This is fantastic.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So you are taking the lead for this day, this time around, and
yes,
then we will. We're missing Steve Ayorinde and, of course, our ombudsman. That we've been missing for KK for a while.
Yes, let's start with this day, the newspaper of record. This day on Sunday, the lead story there says Gbajabiamila mobilizes Nnamani, Dogara, other ex-legislators for Tinubu's second term. And the rider says that the Southern Caucus of Forum of former lawmakers adopts the president as its sole candidate. More politicking ahead of 2027 and more endorsements for President Tinubu. Of course, this I don't think comes as a surprise to anyone, but the picture underneath there does show the president's chief of staff and the former speaker of the House of Representatives, Gbajabiamila, and he is flanked there with the governor of Ogun State, Dogara, as well as the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, and the coordinator of the Southern Caucus Forum, Honorable Raphael Igbokwe.
Yes. And, you know, part of this endorsement in his statement, that is the Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, he cited the economy's 4.6% expansion in the last quarter of 2024 as a reason for the endorsement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for 2027. You know, some will ask, I mean, was it really necessary to endorse him so far ahead of the game at this point? I mean, these are some of the questions.
It seems we can't get away from politics, but again, I always remind people that the president was a politician primarily for over a decade. He's been out, he was out of government for so long, and it's something he's definitely good at and comfortable with. Now, another story on this day above the main story there, we see Sanusi condemns the quality of Nigerian leadership. That story is on page 5, and it is the 16th Emir of Kano, Sanusi II, that has said that Nigeria has not been fortunate with its leaders. Nigeria has not been fortunate with its leaders. And, you know, he says when we see the news that's coming out sometimes, it's not a great bunch. I don't know if a lot of Nigerians would disagree with him there. On top of the masthead, a very important story. Rivers government begins transition to democratic governance. Of course, yesterday we were told that Iba said that he had fulfilled Tinubu's mandate, and my question there was what happened to the mandate of the people of Rivers State. However,
at the moment that he was fulfilling it.
Yes, but it seems now that they are transitioning to democracy, and we expect the duly elected governor, Simlai Fubara, back by the 18th.
Absolutely. Just a few days from now. What?
I don't think there is a story there on Dangote refinery. It says Dangote refinery tackles petrol marketers over allegation of offering lower prices to foreign buyers. That is, of course, also on Sunday Punch, which you can pull up the Sunday Punch newspaper because that is their lead story. Dangote petrol 65 naira cheaper in Togo, according to importers.
Yes.
And the writers there say that Dangote killing competition with pricing. That's that man's statement that you spoke about. And Dangote refinery responding with, we now know those who are pushing Nupeng. Of course, this idea that there is a cabal in the oil and gas industry or in the downstream
I mean,
sector.
It's not new. It's not new that there's always been conversations about whether there is a cabal or not. But now, what is their gain in pushing for this, and what is Dangote's gain in pushing back? And so, I mean, for me, it all boils down to the consumers at the end of the day. Who is going to benefit from all of these pushbacks and you know, these sort of conversations surrounding monopoly and competition?
There are a lot of interesting stories.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. There's so many interesting stories on the Punch. And above the masthead there, we have a story on the coalition. It says coalition leaders will return to ADA amid ADC dispute. We'll see how that goes. But right next to that is a conversation we must have. AFN replies Toby Amusan, says, you flew business.
Please, what exactly?
That story is on page 30. Now, there is a lot of conversation going on online.
Yes.
Primarily because of the equipment and the kit that was given to Nigeria's track and field team, because we have a world championships going on right now, I believe, in Japan. And we're seeing the kits the athletes are showing from different countries are showing their kits on social media. And the ones that were given to our...
In comparison to our Toby Amuson,
our stars...
was one pack of
in the nylon bag, transparent nylon bag. It's absolutely shameful.
Yes.
And I think, honestly, it's very important that she shows this, primarily because, when Ophelia recently left Nigeria, I believe she is now representing Turkey on the international stage, people were going up in arms and, going against her and saying that she's betraying the country. However, when you see how other countries treat their athletes, you understand why.
So it's because she flew business class, so she should keep quiet and not compare her kits with other countries. I mean, did you see the kit from the USA?
Yes, and I've seen from Asian countries, from other South American countries.
Even from African countries.
Yes.
I mean, you can't say because you flew business. I think this is such a poor response to her plight. And she said something about Nigeria will steadily disgrace you. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with her complaining when her teammates are, showing off their gears in the manner in which they are. How is she supposed to show off her own gear too? Do you see what I'm saying?
I think it's shameful.
I think
and the fact that
shameful.
I used to believe, and someone has brought this comment, is that oftentimes now these regulators no longer respond to shame. And when we see how much of an uphill battle the Nigerian women's basketball team, the Tigresses, and how much they've been able to succeed even regardless of that. And even our football, the Nigerian football team, the women and the men, and if you see the complaints are consistent year in, year out.
I saw a report that they said Nigeria is not participating in any relay race in Tokyo for the 2025 World Athletics Champions due to administrative failures by the Athletic Federation of Nigeria, including allegedly replacing qualified athletes with officials and failing to secure visas. I mean, I sent this to our sports correspondent, and he told me that it is not true, that this is not the position at this point. But we want to hear more on this actual allegation from the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, because the story is out there and we need it to be thoroughly debunked. Should we take, this day style before we move on, or do you have something else on the Punch?
Well, there's one more story on the Punch, and this story is very dear to me, and I know it's very dear to you too, because you have taken stories on this, but it speaks doctor shortage, untold tales of Nigeria's preventable maternal death.
Oh, God, yes. This is such a really sad situation in the health sector right now in Nigeria. We have highlighted stories from Kebbi. We have highlighted stories from Kogi. We have highlighted stories from Akwa Ibom. We have highlighted a story from even just recently, Abuja, this woman who lost 2 babies because she didn't have money. But, this sort of, I know that the Minister of Health is doing well. This one I know because he's been out there talking about some of the reforms that have been going on within the health sector. But we need to look deeper into this health sector, because only recently we heard about a doctor who died because he overworked himself. And also in the FTH hospital in Lokoja, this doctor is alleging that they have shortage of doctors and they have people that cannot even get care, even though they work within the hospital. They have equipments that are damaged. They have dilapidated facilities. In Kebbi State, I believe you spoke with the Commissioner for Information yesterday, which, I really didn't understand what he was talking about, because we know that the governor has recently fired the Commissioner for Health. Yes. And the response he gave was quite flat, because you can't say a governor has a right to fire and hire. What was the reason behind the health minister being fired? I'm glad that he was I'm not going to say I'm glad that he was relieved from his job, because I don't know. But if it has to do with that, then yes, he has no business being a commissioner for health. If you have such facilities in your state.
I really appreciated how you've highlighted the different states that we've taken the story, because Nigeria does have a huge maternal mortality problem.
Yes.
It's in the world, we are the #1 country for maternal mortality.
Yes.
And it is an absolute shame. And I also like that you've highlighted both the minister's role, a commissioner's role, a governor's role, but also local government. Because even in Badagry, the local government chairman was called to order because the healthcare centers there were falling apart. And so at every tier of government, there is failure when it comes to our health services, and every single one of them should be held to account.
Absolutely. Well said. Very well said, Adeswagiwa Osage. This is why I love you. But anyways, let's
take this day style.
I can't find this day style. I'm trying to pull it up now. Okay, here you go. We have it here. Perfect. That's what I was struggling. Can we pull up this day style? And the cover picture is engineer Jennifer Adigije driving change at NDPHC. Really beautiful woman there. And the cover note there, Konya wrote, when engineer Jennifer was appointed managing director and Chief Executive Officer of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company in August 2024, she became the face of a new chapter for one of Nigeria's most critical power institutions, with a career that cuts across engineering, telecommunications, and banking. She brings a mix of technical expertise and strategic leadership to a sector that demands both. Jennifer began her career in power transmission before moving into the telecommunications industry. She worked later at the Central Bank of Nigeria, where she focused on value engineering and cost control for capital projects. You know how I admire women on top. Adesua, she really has done very well for herself. Congratulations.
NDPHC,
yes.
I think she's been at NDPHC now for just over a year. The pictures were in the papers last week, actually, of them cutting the cake to celebrate
fantastic.
her and her executive directors over there in NDPHC, who are trying to do something about our electricity in this country.
We need that done. But anyways, congratulations to her. Shall we take our Sunday Sun newspaper, the lead story there, 2027, Jonathan divides Nigerians. And the riders, why he shouldn't run, APC, PDP, LP, ADC, stalwarts, others. Moves to draft ex-president into presidential race gather momentum. Of course, it will gather momentum. Only a few days ago, Peter Obi posted a picture of their meeting on X, and of course, a lot of reactions trailed that. And it appears that, Jonathan is what do you call it now? Is it a beautiful bride?
Is that beautiful bride?
A beautiful bride at this moment.
He's the man of the ball.
He's the man of the. But when you look at it, right, he is the one candidate that fits that idea of whether he's going to do just one term, because obviously he is. He only has one term left, and so if you look at a southern candidate, and he's the one person that could probably fit into that position. And so I guess that's why he seems to be the beautiful bride now that the PDP has zoned their ticket to the south.
Yes.
All right.
But of course, if he does go back to the PDP...
he never left the PDP.
Well, not left the PDP, rather, but if he does decide to run under the PDP, he will obviously have to deal with Nyesom Wike, the very powerful minister of the FCT, who says he's supporting the president. And of course, as you said, he's constitutionally barred from running for more than one term. However, the very interesting thing is that if Jonathan and some of the people who are quoting him, like a Peter Obi, or some who might be competing against him, like Rotimi Amechi, if they do go down this route, after Jonathan's one term, he is going to return to the north. It's
going to return to the north, and that's the conversation out there.
And that's the conversation. For somebody like Peter Obi, that's a serious consideration.
Yes, but do you think that Peter Obi is meeting Jonathan to run as his VP, or do you think he's just meeting him for some sort of coalition or some sort of help?
Maybe it's a coalition. Maybe because they catch up. They do have a very long relationship.
Yes.
And also, Jonathan helped Peter Obi when he was his VP candidate, and some of the Southeast leaders were not very happy about that. Jonathan helped Peter Obi during that time. They have a long relationship.
They do.
I don't see any political calculation where they can run on the same ticket.
This is it.
I imagine that a lot of these conversations and meetings and pictures will be happening as we head into
2027. Yes.
In September of 2025, it's politics.
I mean, yes, and governance. Where is governance? Where is governance? I'm hearing my director saying that we should wrap up.
You're having too much time with me.
This is so much fun, isn't it?
Too much fun.
Well, I hope I see you here next Sunday. Would I?
I don't know. Well, that's bringing us to the end of the morning show today, and thank you for watching. I'm Gbajabiamila.
And I'm Ojiokwe from our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.